Hello and welcome back. Today's video is going to be a review of the Estée Lauder Double Wear Foundation that I'm actually wearing now, and I will cut in me applying the foundation. I quite like this foundation. It has really quite good coverage. I'm in the colour Shell, which is IC0 possibly. I just got a sample obviously. So yes, this is in the shade Shell. I did try, there was another lighter colour, but it was quite yellow toned, and on my skin it was quite obvious that it was yellow toned. It turns out I have quite neutral toned skin, so I'm a bit of a mix of the pink and yellow shades. Excellent. But I think I lean more pink, to be honest. Anyway, the Shell is the pinkier toned foundation, and I actually think it's quite a good match. I have days where I'm not too sure. In certain lights it's a bit obvious on my face, and then other times it's not so much. I do blend it down my neck slightly, but actually, I don't know, I keep hemming and hawing over the shade of this. I think it's actually alright. Maybe I'm just too panicky sometimes. But yes, I think it's actually quite a good shade. This is quite a long wearing foundation, and it does provide decent coverage. I can see now the similarities between this and the Revlon Colour Stay, but this is a much better colour match for me, and this lasts much better on my skin than the Revlon Colour Stay ever did. The Revlon Colour Stay would last, you know, really well for a good 6-7 hours, but there would be some breaking down around my nose and stuff. This stays put, and it stays put all day without any hassle. So when I go to work in the morning, I would apply this, and then when I would get home at night, it would still be there and it's still in place. And I have danced in this. I'm an Irish dancer, so I worked out in this because I forgot to take it off before I started dancing. When I finished, this was pretty much still as it had been whenever I started. So that was pretty impressive, you know. So this is a really good long wearing foundation. It is, because it is quite full coverage, it can flatten your face quite a bit. By that I mean it takes you back to completely blank canvas, and it almost makes your face more two-dimensional than three-dimensional because it is quite a decent coverage. I'm trying to think I'm trying to think of a foundation I could compare it to, but with the Revlon Colour Stay you can end up with a mask for a face as well. So you just have to be careful in your application and start with less and then apply more. You'll see I sort of dotted it on in certain places, and I've used this quite a few times so I know where I can get away with it, and I really buff it in, and I take my time buffing it all in. It buffs in really nicely. I use the Real Techniques buffing brush. Buffs in really nicely, and I will add extra coverage. My cheeks are a bit red, and on my chin and my nose and places like that, so that I'm only having extra coverage in those areas rather than my whole face. And what I've discovered after I've done all that, and I've done my concealer and I've done everything else, I will run a damp blending sponge. You can use any brand you like, but a damp beauty sponge, and just dab that in all over my face, and that blends it down really nicely without removing any coverage. So I just literally do it really lightly at the very end, and it's really nice. I like that. It softens the look slightly. But if you are going to do this, you make sure you use a wee bit of highlighter, a bit of blush, you know, add that colour back into your face just to add a bit more life again. I wouldn't say this is one you can get away with without adding some colour to your cheeks, maybe. But if you're looking for a good coverage foundation, this is definitely it. This retails for $28.50 or thereabouts for 30ml. And I think that's not actually bad, because it's a really good foundation. This hasn't irritated my skin. With the Revlon Colour Stay, I couldn't necessarily wear that day after day after day because it would clog my face up and I would end up with more spots, basically. I don't get that with this foundation. It doesn't clog my face up at all, and it doesn't cause any irritation from what I've worn it a few days consecutively, the best part of a week basically consecutively, to check, and there was no issues. Whereas if I'd done that with the Revlon Colour Stay, after the second day I would start to get more irritation. So it's really quite good in that way. It has SPF 10, so I think that's why I don't have any particular issue with the flashback. I just look the colour that I am, which is really good. I will insert pictures of without flash, with flash by a window, and with flash away from a window so you can see. And yeah, I think that's really, really important. If you're getting married, you want a foundation that's not going to flashback. So I didn't have any issues with that. Is there anything else I've not covered? Not really at all. I really like this foundation. I would definitely recommend it. This and the Dior Nude Skin have been my favourites thus far. Complete opposite ends of the spectrum. One's really light coverage and this one is quite a full coverage foundation, so really quite different in that way. But they're really good foundations and they are definitely worth their money. I really, really like it. I can understand why this is a go-to foundation for people getting married and whatever else. It's really, really good and it stays put. I'm definitely actually considering it. I have now booked myself a makeup artist because I was just generally getting more and more fed up trying to find the right foundation and just having no luck. And at this time I was flim-flamming over this foundation onto whether I liked it or not, and hemmed and hawed and lot. And then after talking to my mum and my sister or whatever, they sort of said they would like to get their makeup done too, so I've gone with a makeup artist. That does not mean I am not on the search for the perfect foundation. What makeup person isn't? What person isn't on the search for their perfect foundation? So I will continue. I don't think I have any other samples that I'm really going to test out. The MAC Face and Body I'm not even really going to go near because it's really bad for oily skin, and my skin has now started to change now that the weather has improved a bit. Just as I got my skincare down, the weather has started to change and my skin is changing with that. It's the way of life. However, I have rambled long enough, I do believe. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. I will of course do a blog post and I will put links down below and everything else, so you can check those out in the description box. And that is it. I hope you're having a lovely day, and please like if you like, please subscribe if you like, and I'll see you in my next video.